I did it my way.
Well, he had been doing it his way for 37 years as president. Tuesday, Robert Mugabe resigned. Jacob Mudenda, Speaker of Zimbabwe's parliament.
Notice of resignation.
There has been no confirmation or denial of the letter from Mr. Mugabe or his office, and he and his wife Grace have not been seen publicly for days. Celebrations broke out in Parliament after Mudenda read the letter of resignation, and outside, much more of the same. Mugabe was fired as leader of the ruling ZANU-PF party Tuesday. Parliament had begun impeachment proceedings when the letter was delivered and read. The impeachment motion included charges of abusing authority by naming his wife, Grace Mugabe, as successor. That step taken after firing popular military hero and former vice president Emmerson Mnangagwa. Zimbabwe's state-run broadcaster says Emmerson Mnangagwa will be sworn in as the country's new president Friday. The former vice president is expected in Zimbabwe at any time. He abruptly fled the country after Mugabe fired him on November 6th. Adiola Fahen is with Sahara Television.
Is that democracy in Zimbabwe, sir? Sir, is there democracy in Zimbabwe? There is no democracy in Zimbabwe. Very, very sad. It's about time. It's about time to step down.
For years, there has been increasing pressure for the now 93-year-old leader to step down. And for years, the U.S. has sanctioned the Mugabe government for its increasing assault on its people's human rights and the rule of law.
We all should work together for a quick return to civilian rule in that country in accordance with their constitution. Zimbabwe has an opportunity to set itself on a new path, one that must include democratic elections and respect for human rights.
In Kenya, Chief Justice David Maraga.
The presidential election of the 26th October is hereby upheld, as is the election of the third respondent.
Uhuru Kenyatta is president of Kenya for another term. The Supreme Court's unanimous ruling Monday that Kenyatta won last month's runoff vote, with the court's petition's dismissal and striking down arguments that election laws were not followed. The decision following 3 days of hearings. Opposition leader Raila Odinga boycotted the second runoff vote and called for international intervention in the country's election crisis.
And when you see people begin to talk about secession or wanting out of Project Kenya, it basically tells you that something is seriously wrong with Kenya that must be addressed and before the country tears apart.
The chairman of the Electoral Commission, Wafulu Chebukati, said the unanimous decision by the court affirms the IEBC's resolve and efforts to conduct a free, fair, and credible election. After the ruling, some Kenyatta supporters took to the streets in celebration. Elsewhere, not everyone was so pleased. Kenyatta is expected to be sworn in November 28th. The opposition says they'll not recognize his presidency and continue fighting for what they call electoral justice. And, again, we could see Emmerson Mnangagwa sworn in as the new president of Zimbabwe as early as Friday. Paul Sisco, VOA News, Washington.